So I wonder, what kind of world do you live in? What do I mean by that? I think there's two ways of looking at the world. Do you live in a created world or do you live in a reported world? Perhaps another way of looking at it is, are you an actor in your world or are you a reactor? I think language is so important and we use language in so many ways, and yet there are subtle patterns in language. I think about that idea of, when we're polite to somebody, so we say, have a nice day. Well, have a nice day, to me it just feels a tiny little bit passive. Have a nice day, as if the day is happening around you, as you're just simply along for the ride. I love to say to people, create an amazing day, create a nice day, create an extraordinary day. Because you are the creator. It's up to you to create your day. Your day is happening for you. It's not just happening and you just happen to be there. I think about other language that we use. In personal development, there are lots of little aphorisms we use like, everything happens for a reason. It was meant to be. Trust the process, enjoy the journey. Again, to me, these all feel a little fatalistic, a little bit like fate's happening and you're along for the ride. What if it isn't everything happens for a reason? What if you create the reasons things happen? What if you find the reasons things happen and create something resourceful out of it? It's up to you to take responsibility. A few years ago, I traveled to London, which is about 200 miles for me, and I stayed overnight because someone had reached out to me, someone I really wanted to connect with. They'd reached out to me, their office had contacted me and said, we'd love to get you two together. And so I traveled to London, I booked a hotel, one of my colleagues came with me, and we sat and waited for the meeting. Literally 5 minutes before the meeting was due to start, we got a message from their PA, and the PA said, I'm really sorry, but their flights have changed. It's language we hear all the time. Oh, my flights have changed. No, they haven't. You changed your plans. Take responsibility for that. You create your world. The flights don't change. Your plans don't change. You change your plans. So again, to me, there's subtle clues in language that we are reporters in the world, not creators of our world. Our plans don't change. We absolutely change our plans. Another one that comes up so often when I'm coaching with people or we're working on a project. Oh, I didn't have time. Well, everybody in the world has exactly the same amount of time available to them every day. It's how we choose to use that time. It's how we create time for the things we give priority to. So when someone says to me, I don't have time or I didn't have time, what they're really saying is, I am not choosing to create that time. I am not choosing to give priority to this, and that's how I'm going to use my time. I think the last one that comes to my mind in terms of created world versus reported world, the actor or reactor, is use of the word sorry. Anybody who's worked in one of my groups or worked with me in coaching will probably be smiling right now and thinking, yep, that's the word we're not allowed to use. And I actually, at the start of our coaching, I say we're not allowed to use the word sorry. And if someone uses the word sorry in the coaching, in our coaching groups, in our sessions, then I will have them do a chicken dance. And it might be a metaphorical chicken dance, but I'll have them do the chicken dance. If they are a repeat offender, I will invite them to video themselves doing the chicken dance and publish it on Facebook. And that has definitely happened. So there are some chicken dance videos out there on Facebook if you want to go and look for them. But the reason why I say this is, to me, sorry is a very passive thing. It's, oh, I'm sorry I'm late. And again, if I think of something that happened to me a few years ago, I had arranged to meet a client and we were going to meet at 8:30 for a breakfast. And they contacted me the night before and said, can we meet at 8 o'clock, half an hour earlier? So I went for breakfast at 8 o'clock and they arrived at 8:20. And they said to me, oh, I'm sorry, I always miss that train. And the way they said it was, it's like, I've said sorry, so now we can move on. Well, actually, no, we can't move on. Why were you sorry? If you're always late for that train, why didn't you get an earlier train? So instead of saying sorry, what he could have said is, thank you for your patience. I realized I took a risk in getting that train, and next time I commit to get an earlier train. So now I feel like they're taking ownership. It's not just something that happened, it's not just the world going by them. They're actually taking responsibility for their world, and they're creating a new possibility the next time round. And they're creating a commitment to me that they won't be late in the future. So I ask you, do you live in a created world or a reported world? Do you create the world around you? Do you create your decisions? Do you take responsibility? Or are you an actor or a reactor? Do you live in a created world or a reported world? The final thought I want to leave with you is, if you do choose to live in a created world, what becomes possible for you then? What can you create that makes a difference in your world and in the world for those around you?